Hi, and welcome to section 7 of our series on dynamic support and resistance and the rule of threes. And in section 6 we left off at the close of this bar here, which is the third bar, and it did not break or close below our support line here. So now you're saying to yourself, well, Jerry, that's the third bar, and the fourth bar went down. True enough. However, let's look at this bar. If I didn't know anything about the market, I had not watched the market at all today, which in fact I did not, but I did check later. This is typical of a news bar. This is the bar. We had the U.S. news today about the unemployment, and as I always warn you about news bars, how news is used to shake out the stop levels. So when the news broke after the close of this third bar, on the fourth bar we actually did turn, and look what happened. We went up and we took out the stops. And see, most people place their stops just above the prior swing high or just below the prior swing low. And in this case, the prior swing low is going to be the low of this bar here. And when we look over and see what happened, and this is why I always say on a news release, wait until at least after the end of the hour on which the news is released. Wait until the end of that 1 hour bar. And now, after the shakeout of the stops above and the stops below, we closed just under support, and that took us back down here. So in relative terms, this rule of threes, it did play out in this situation, but as I inform you on many occasions, news trumps everything, and news is used typically first to take out the stops before the market continues in the direction that it was going to go in the first place. And so typically when I see a bar like this on the news, I know it sounds kind of confusing, but I count this almost as a nothing bar. But it's really not a nothing bar. I mean, because it did break below support, and so that's a signal for us to go short because we have a breakdown. But in relation to our count, because really the only purpose of this bar, in my opinion, is to shake out the stops. This first hour bar on the news is really a head fake bar. And so we must count it, but it's kind of hard to explain. But it's a news bar, and as far as our count, you can count it. If you counted it, you would not be wrong. But it did, when you see a bar like this, it does several things on one bar. So it kind of confuses you on certain things, because really this bar in and of itself could actually be considered three different type of bars. I mean, because we broke above support, I mean we broke above resistance, and we broke down below support, and then we closed back just underneath support. And by virtue of this close, this prior support line is now resistance. Now, I'd like to say this before we go forward too, and when we talk about things like this rule of threes. Now, the rule of threes is meant to be a complementary technique, not a standalone technique. I mean, you keep doing and keep analyzing the same way that we've always been analyzing going along throughout the course. But now, and when we talk about our complementary techniques, when we look at the rule of threes, we want to pay attention to the rule of threes when it fits in with our normal analysis of support and resistance and our pivots. I repeat, it does not change anything. It is a complementary technique. And also, since we're talking about this news bar here, it gives me an opportunity to illustrate something else to you that's very important. Now,